It's usually pretty hard to find the best movie of the year, but at least this year it's easy to find the worst movie. The Northman is basically Viking blackface. Portray Vikings as more disgusting and barbaric than literal animals, engaging in cannibalism and vampirism, but just cloak it in historical accuracy. It's just the worst Twilight prequel ever. But seriously, if Vikings were really this boring, they would have just killed themselves. Eggers is the biggest hack I've ever seen. His artsy film techniques may have been alright in a movie like The Lighthouse, but you can't polish this turd of a generic revenge tale by adding awkward camera angles and weird music. And his long continuous shots add nothing to the movie as the camera awkwardly drags across the battlefield. I generally think revenge stories are a waste of time, but this is the worst one I've seen for sure. I don't think I've ever seen worse character writing. The motivation of these characters are so nonsensical. The movie hasn't a single moment that isn't purposely dreadful and disgusting, which means that having the characters show a single moment of levity would be literally too much to ask for. How can you have a main character that is so aggressively one note? Not a single moment of empathy for the lives that are about to be destroyed by his actions. We don't ever see him have a life outside of this specific revenge tale. The movie fully endorses the sadistic and barbaric revenge tale of the main character, and it even shows the gods funneling him into this specific path since he was 10 years old, and literally saving him by sending the crows to rescue him when he is captured. So this tells us that the story thinks that it is divinely guided and rewarded, so the character didn't even have a choice. But then it impotently tries to frame it as breaking the cycle of violence, as if something moral had been achieved here. But it's completely wrong. Amleth could have taken the superior choice that was given to him at the end of the movie and run away with his wife to make a new life. But he chose to die to enact his final revenge and kill Fjolnir and his entire family. Wow. Amleth is so strategically retarded, his choices were never good, but in the final act he just drops all sense of planning ahead and just walks right into the home of his enemy. And gets stabbed. If only he could have foreseen that they would defend their home. If only the stupid gods could have rescued him one more time. In the original story, Hamlet pretended to be handicapped, but in this one, it's just his genuine character. So Amleth went after Fjolnir to make sure that he's not the target of revenge. How noble! Except for not. Fjolnir isn't even the king in this version of the story. Amleth could easily just have ignored him and gained favor with the actual king, which he actually did in the siege that happened earlier in the movie. He would have been completely untouchable by the side of the king. Every single part of this revenge tale was unnecessary. He gained nothing for himself or his children. The world was his oyster, but he threw it all away so he could have a final showdown at a volcano. I am so disgusted that you would show such a barbaric tale of revenge, and then in the end have the character see his family tree sprout up, and his kids become king. No! If you want a family tree, then you should take care of your family, not pump and dump your maiden before you go on a suicidal revenge showdown. How does that even make sense? How does that even translate into making a line of kings? That is just so stupid. Oh yeah, he's the king because his father was killed by his uncle, and then he plotted revenge on his uncle. But his uncle wasn't even king, so what does that have to do with him becoming king? I don't understand. Like, how did you supplant the actual king by having this revenge that doesn't factor into the geopolitics of the region at all? It doesn't even play in Norway. I think it plays in Iceland. My mind is blown by how nonsensical this entire movie is and how people actually enjoy it in some way. I don't get it. I don't get how you can choose to have this smaller scope for the story where you decide that Fjolnir is not the king. And you have the revenge and you kill him, and then in the end your children become kings and queens. How? It's like if you have a random slasher movie, and then in the end it says, oh yeah, and then he went on to become the president. What? How does that work out? He didn't run for president or anything. He just defeated Jason, that's all he did. Oh, come on. Well, realistically, actually, Amles is Jason, if we're being honest. So that's even weirder. It's like, oh yeah, Jason killed everyone and then he became president, even though he never did anything to gain favor with the actual ruling class of this country. He's not even in the right country. Okay. Oh well, smash the dislike button if you for some reason like this movie, you freak. And check out my Letterboxd account in the description, so you can read all my latest movie reviews if I get around to making them, you know? One of the main type of comments I get in these videos is that I am a joker, that I'm insincere. But no, I am actually fully sincere. This is the worst movie I've seen this year. It had a dreadful atmosphere, it was disgusting, it didn't make any sense, and I hated it. And just because I have funny moments in my review doesn't mean that I'm insincere. Please, I'm just that funny, okay? I can't turn it off. But please take my opinion seriously.